Good morning, everybody. This is Dee with Illinois WorkNet, and I've got Olivia on the phone with me.
Hi, everybody.
We're going to get started with our technical assistance call this morning. And Olivia, do you want to take it off?
I sure do. All right, let me get my screen zoomed in a little bit so you guys can see everything a little bit better. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to run through the intake dashboard, then the enrolled dashboard, and then we're going to look at the intake projections. And then we're going to take a second and pause the recording and kind of look at where everybody's at in these areas and what needs cleaned up. So the areas on the intake dashboard that we really need to focus on making sure we're not letting customers get stuck in is this incomplete application older than 24 hours. We have two customers that completed their application, part of their application, and it's been 24 hours since then and nothing has happened with that. So we need to either have them come back in and finish that application or have them mark on that application that they're not interested in the EPIC program. So we can either know if they're going to keep moving forward in the process or if they're no longer interested in EPIC. Because we cannot have customers sitting in these yellow numbers or these yellow rows. And then the second section is this ready for review by DHS Caseworker. We have 11 customers in here who need to go through the eligibility review process. They have completed the application, and so we just need to move forward and either find them a program that they can potentially go into or mark that they are no longer interested in EPIC services at this step. And then the next section is this needs to be scheduled for consent, which we have 13 customers in, and this missed consent meeting, which we have 1. We just need to be getting these customers back in and having them go through the random assignment process to determine if they are going to be put into the SNAP or EPIC group. So we really need to make sure we're getting those customers back in. They can decide that they don't want to participate at this step as well, and that is fine, but we need to make sure we're getting them in to determine if they want to move forward or if they're no longer participating.
Before we move on, do we want to pause the recording right now and talk about where each of these numbers rest?
Yeah. And
Okay.
I have one last section to go over before I go into the people, and it's the not assigned to CBO. So 3 of these 4 people we are moving. They're going to be going to withdrawn. But we do have 1 customer in here who is in EPIC and still has not been assigned to a CBO. So Candy will pause the recording, and I can go more into who we need to have clean these areas up.
Okay.
You're looking in there and seeing if any of these are your customers, and we're getting them back in so we can determine if they're going to continue to go forward in this EPIC process or if they're no longer interested because they cannot stay in these yellow areas.
And if you need to know how to make them not interested in the program so that they move from that yellow line, please either call me or call Olivia, and we'll walk you through the process one-on-one.
Yes.
One who is exempt marked as declined. Did you take care of that, McMorris? Okay. All right. Thank you.
All righty. So we are back on recording. So as long as we don't have any questions, I'll go ahead and go forward to the enrolled dashboard. So for the enrolled dashboard, we have just a few areas in here that we need to be keeping an eye on. And the first one is this referral pending no contact from customer recommend conciliation. We have 137 customers who did not attend their initial appointment with their CBO. So they need to be coming in, going through conciliation process, and hopefully getting realigned with the same CBO or a new CBO if their interests have changed since they first came in for EPIC. The second section is this referral rejected. We have 8 customers who showed up for their initial appointment with the CBO and for some reason were rejected. The only way a CBO can reject a customer is if that customer is unable to complete the training program. For example, if they're unable to pass required drug or medical tests, or if they're unable to pass any entrance exams that they need in order to begin the training. Or some of them will go in and tell the CBO that originally they thought they wanted to do CNA, but after thinking about it for a couple of days, they realized that the food service is something they're more interested in and would rather be aligned with a program that can offer them that training. And then the last section on the enrolled dashboard to keep an eye on is this DHS review, recommend, sanction. We have 44 customers who have went through the conciliation process with the CBO and either did not attend that conciliation appointment or did not agree to the terms that the CBO laid out in order for them to continue their engagement. So now the CBO is recommending them for sanction with DHS. So again, Dee, if you want to go ahead and pause the recording, we can take a look into the EPIC program would be our best results. But some of these customers may end up losing their benefits or maybe prefer to go into just regular SNAP. That is fine, but we just really need to get them through this process and get them either moving forward or out. And then for the referral rejected, we have Chicago Calumet Park 2, Chicago Humboldt 3, Chicago Southeast 1, Chicago Western 1, and St. Clair's 1. And then conciliation notice. Alrighty. So do we have any?
What you just said about how long do we want the turnaround on that once they recommend conciliation and sanction?
So once conciliation has been done, they have 30 days to go through the sanction process before they have to redo the conciliation, from my understanding of DHS policy. But if I'm wrong, please somebody let me know. But we need to be getting them turned around within 30 days of the CBO recommending sanction. 30 days is how long we have to actually begin that sanction process with the customer.
So once they submit that documentation, we need DHS to follow up, and we've just listed out who's got what in that list. So if you guys can please take care of that, we need it done so that these people move through and are properly taken care of.
Okay. So the next thing we're going to go over is the intake projections. We're going to go ahead and look at these on a statewide level. So as you guys can see, our numbers have been increasing throughout the months of this program, and we're not quite to our blue line yet. The blue line is our average monthly group assignment goal. This is where we would like to be. We are just a little bit below that, but if we continue to keep getting customers put through the intake orientation process, and especially making sure that we're getting customers that are really interested in this EPIC program and want to go into training and are really excited about the opportunities EPIC offers, the better outcome we're going to have in the end, because these customers are going to be engaged. We're not going to have as big as a problem with them not wanting to participate or being non-cooperative. So making sure we're making good assignments is also a big part of this. But we also want to be meeting our numbers, so making sure that we're working hard to get people through. And a lot of the customers that we went over on the enrolled dashboard, the no-contact customers that need to go through conciliation, the referral rejected, and the recommend sanction, not so much, I guess, the recommend sanction, but the other two, if we can get those customers put through conciliation or realigned because they were rejected from a CBO, that is a very easy way to get customers into the EPIC program and actually engaging in the EPIC program that we already have. You don't have to go through the orientation process with them. It's just a small conversation to figure out what needs to happen, if they need to be realigned or what's going on. So we really need to be getting back to those customers and really trying to get them engaged to help with our numbers. And so of the numbers that we have a total of 2,821 enrolled, which is awesome. And of those, we have 1,410 customers in the treatment group. And so to reach our goal of 5,000, we have 2,179 more customers to reach our total goal. So hopefully, I'm hoping by next time that we have this webinar, or maybe even the time after that, that this number will be bigger than this number. So our total treatment group numbers will be bigger than our remaining amount needed to reach the goal. So hopefully by our next webinar, these numbers will be a lot different and we'll be closer to the end than we are now. So and that is all I have for the intake projections. Do you guys have any questions on those? Alrighty, so I have one last thing I want to go over before I turn this over to Dee, and that is one of the reports that has been available for quite a while now. We've had it out for a couple months at least, and that is the Incorrect Customer Information Report. So you guys will not see as many reports as I see here, but you will definitely see this Incorrect Customer Information Report. You'll just go to your reports and find the Incorrect Customer Information Report, and it will automatically filter by your region. I have super admin, so I'm looking at everybody. But you will go into that report, and that report will give you a list of all the customers who said on their application that some of the information, whether it was their address, their date of birth, their social security number, anything like that, is different than what DHS had originally listed on their EPIC information when they were putting them into the system. So you can pull that report, and that report will give you a list of all the customers that has said that. And you guys will be able to go in and update that information. It'll tell you which information has been changed, and you can update it in your DHS system so you guys also have the correct information. And then there's a red bar that will display across the customer's page, and you just have to mark yes that you've acknowledged the information is changed and has been updated. And we have quite a few customers in there that have not had their information updated. Dee, if you want to pause the recording, we can take a look at which regions have how many customers with information that needs updated in the DHS system. Figuring out where we are at as a team in reaching our goal. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Dee, and she has some more exciting things to go over with you guys. Dee, if you're talking, I think you're on mute.
Oh, yeah, I'm on mute. I was pulling an Olivia. Okay, so if you haven't had a chance to check in, go ahead and do that real quick right now while I've got the screen down. And then I'm going to, come on, we got 36 people on the webinar. Check your region. That's better. See, we catch people off guard. We catch them doing something else. All right, I'm pulling my screen up here. Okay, one of the things that we want to talk about is finding a customer list. And I know that you guys get the 4333s from the CBOs when a staffing gets done. But in the interim, if you need to look for customers, all you have to do, and if you need to look by your office, you can go to the customer list. So whenever you log in, it lands on customers. And then if you go to, like, I'm going to look by region. So if I go to region 3, for example, I will only be able to pick different offices. I want to know why Peoria is not in there, Olivia. Oh, I'm in test. Okay. So then, but if I go to region 1, I get a new option here that says local office. So if I go to region 1, I don't even have to pick a pod. I can go straight to a list of the local offices. So if I want to go to South Loop, now this has the feeders and the pods. So if I go to South Loop and search, I see all of the customers that have been assigned or not assigned out of the South Loop office. So you can see right here where it says a safe haven, they weren't assigned, they were assigned to Catholic Charities. This one was not assigned. So you can check all of your people by office. And if you are assigned to a pod, for example, the pod can see, if it's Mid-South, I guess Inglewood is the feeder for Mid-South, or is that right or wrong? And then Roseland goes to Southeast, I think. I can't ever keep track of all of those, but whatever it is, if you're part of the pod, you get to filter by those offices within that pod as well. So this is a new feature that you can do. And so if you're trying to look at the dashboard, like Olivia was showing you, and you go to the enrolled dashboard, and you pick a number for customers, well, that's not a good number. Customers who were indicated that they are not SNAP eligible, then I can actually filter by region, and then I can filter by local office if I need to, or by main office if you're in one of the southern areas. So if I go to Mid-South and I look, I see that I don't have anybody in that list. So that's how you can determine if you have people in that list or not. So use that tool to your advantage. Okay, next thing, I don't see my agenda over on the other side, Olivia. We forgot to move that this morning. Okay, one of the things that I want to talk about now is reverse referrals. Part of the process that we want to talk about with Illinois WorkNet is the process for the reverse referral. And what we've talked about with all of the CBOs is doing the reverse referral and filling out the form properly, sending a message to the primary contact, and copying it to Deidre and the DHS admin crowd so that they can follow up. But one of the things that I would like to show you is if you get a referral from a customer, or from a CBO, and those people, let me find somebody who has an application that's not been enrolled yet. And I'm in test, so it's getting a little bit more difficult to find some of these. Okay, so what we want to do is in the eligibility review, for example, if somebody gets referred to you from one of the CBOs that has a healthcare program, check all of the healthcare programs because we have these sorted out by mileage. And the customer needs to know that they have multiple options. So as you're talking to the people, maybe they wanted to be in culinary arts, but if you look, this culinary arts was the only one that was checked. So you need to also approve the other one. Look at each of these programs with the person to see which one is their preferred program. You don't want to just give them one option. You want to give them all of the available options so that they can make the informed decision. And that's what they need to do, is they need to make the informed decision about which program they want to participate in. Because if they're making the informed decision, they're more likely to participate, and we won't be having as many conciliations and recommend sanctions because the people will continue to participate, hopefully. All right, so does everybody understand what I was talking about there, about making sure that all of the options are included? I see Jay typing, so I'm going to wait just a second. Reverse referrals come from the EPIC providers, and they are supposed to be completing a 2151 a 2151 reverse referral and contacting the primary contact at each of the offices, whether it's a pod, a feeder, or a local office downstate. And the providers understand that the customer may not come back to them directly. The provider should complete with all of the components of their program. Are you saying that some of the information for the programs are not in the EPIC system? Jay, why don't you tell me what office you're in, and I'll give you a phone call. Because the customer has the right to choose. The DH, all you have to do is put a check mark in front of all of the programs for that customers. So if they say that they wanted to get into hospitality, then you would mark hospitality, culinary arts. All of these programs are the ones that fit within what they said they wanted to do. So if you approve all of these programs, then they get the choice. If they did step 3 on the intake pod, then they will kind of be able to consider who that appropriate program is. But if just like Pam says, if the customer states they want to stay under 10 miles from their home, then you wouldn't be picking this one that says 24 to 48 or 24.48. But if they mark that on their application that they only want to stay between 5 and 15 miles of their home, those 24-mile programs won't show up in this list. So that's the whole thing about that eligibility and reviewing that mileage. If there's an issue, then you might have to go back to their application and make a change. So like if no programs exist, maybe they put that they only want to travel less than 5 miles. So looking at all of those components is something that you guys can help the customer make a better choice for the program that they're going to pick and hopefully be successful at. All right, I want to move on from here. If we have any other questions, we do have eligibility review directions. We can include that link in the minutes. Can we, Olivia?
Yep.
All right. So now, let's take a look at, I think I'm done showing things. So let's take a look at some poll questions that we have. And Olivia, if you want to let's bring this up right now because we were just talking about this. All right, so we've got these 3 poll questions out here. And you may have answered these questions before, but it's always a good reminder for how you're going through your eligibility review before you actually do the random assignment. Because based on the application, some people do different things than when they're actually just looking at the website. They're a little bit more honest maybe on the application. All right, we're going to give you just another couple of minutes on this. So this first question up here in the top left, I'm going to close this one down. Now I'm going to close the one next to it on the right. And I'm going to close the one about during eligibility review. We'll send out some of these results with the minutes. All right, so now let's talk about this. I know the downstate offices didn't go through this monthly staffing that we just had up here in Cook County, but what we want to do is we want to find out how things went, and we want to know if we got what we needed from the offices. And then one other thing that I want to know, and I'm going to put up one more poll question. Oh, my cap locks are on. All right, and then here we go. I'm going to make this one a little bit smaller here. All right. One of the I'm going to show you for this last question. All right, so for the staffings, I don't see anybody typing on the bottom one, so I'm going to expand my screen here a little bit. All right, so for the staffings, if you do, I know Chris McMorris used to do this when everything was centralized at Mid-South. He would have a staffing with the Epic provider, and then under the particular agency, he would go to that agency and pick it. And under the Uploads tab, he could upload a file. And this could be something as simple as using that 4333 that can be downloaded from Epic because it's uploaded to Epic. You open this up and make the modification. So, for example, I'm going to take this form and I'm going to make some modifications to it in Adobe Reader, and I'm going to say whatever you guys want to say, done. Maybe you say staff February. Just put a statement in there, or you can do a little note for each customer, so that the CBO knows what's going on. And then all you have to do is upload a file, pick the file, and I'm just going to pick this, whether it's available for the CBO only or available to the CBO and DHS staff, which would be preferable. And then you would put a note, January staffing notes, and then upload that file. That way, the meeting between you and the CBO is memorialized for the CBO to see, as well as all of us to see. So I don't know if that's something that you had considered doing, but it is something that would be useful. Case note is per person. If you've got one document, McMorris can maybe talk about this a little bit more or talk to you about it if you want to find out how he used to do it. Case note per person, if you're going to go into every person and put a case note in Epic, you can do that, but the CBOs don't have access to DHS case notes, so depends on what you want to do. If you want to do each customer, that would be great. I don't know what you mean, Jay. This is not a typical program. This is a pilot program, so it's something that we're trying to see if things will work moving forward. This could become the way that things happen. It depends on how Secretary Demas looks at the end results. So when we suggest something, it's not by any means something that you absolutely have to do. It just makes the program easier for everyone. Okay. I don't know who you are, Jay, so I can't say anything about this to you. Okay, well, I think that we're done, Olivia, aren't we?
Yes, ma'am. I believe so.
All right, so we will see everybody on, I put it in the pod,
March
10th.
Yeah.
March 10th is our next webinar. So everybody have a great day and a great weekend. Thanks.